Coming up today on Locked On Texas Tech, it was a points in the paint party for the Red Raiders as they down Drake and roll on to the Sweet 16.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. And today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. With the only Chris Level, I'm Casey Cowan. Chris, great to be back with you. Great to have you back in the 806 with still another traveling left to do. We're back on the road again because the Red Raiders are Sweet 16 bound following a win over Drake, and one that winds up, I guess, toward the end of the day, even being a little bit comfortable. All due respect to Drake, that's our standard MO this time of year. All due respect to everybody. But as I said in the reaction video yesterday, this is where we have to leave you as the Red Raiders survive and advance again, Chris. And it was, as you predicted, a much different looking variety of success as the Red Raiders really pound Drake inside. JT Toppin, Darion Williams will get a lot of discussion on this show. And Elijah Hawkins, who you called last week, again on Saturday, going to be the most important player for the Red Raiders. And he lived up to that billing. So kind of strange to see the flip-flop, I guess, from round one to round two. If you have not been watching the Red Raiders this year, if you have been, it's just par for the course, right? A Swiss Army knife again on display, I guess.
Oh man, this is fun. I don't know about everybody out there, but I'm having fun. It's exhausting, but this time of year, man. It's just anxiety, the stress, and the payoff is just all on full tilt. I mean, the atmosphere in Wichita, Kansas for really both of these games, and it's because of the other fan bases in the building too, are just awesome. But yeah, the Red Raiders play two completely different games in Wichita, Kansas, and that's really the beauty of your team. You have this chameleon feel to you that you decide. And we'll handle our business, but you get to pick. I thought it was perimeter oriented. Obviously Thursday night, they shoot too much. They just run down and shoot it. Why are they shooting so many? Like, what is wrong? This isn't any kind of offense. 13 of 46. You won by double digits. And then the first possession. On Saturday evening is JT backing down, then the next possession is D5 backing down, and you are trying to get a feel. Okay, what have they decided? Am I getting doubled? Are they going to just dig? Like what are we getting? And the way you spread the floor and everything like that, it was one-on-one most of the night, and I'm like, okay, if this is the poison that you chose to drink, it may be a bit of a slower death, but you will die. We will take you to the deep end of the pool, and we will drown you. We may let you, paddle and dog paddle a little bit and hang in there, but then down you go. And JT and Darion Williams, man, were just it was just bully ball. I mean, it was big boy stuff. I hate to say this, but these guys are making some money right now. I mean,
why do you hate to say it?
I'm like in the. Well, I'm saying you better get a glimpse of what's going on in a Red Raider uniform with these guys. Just enjoy it while you can, is what I would say. But I loved it. I loved it. You just and they didn't really ever adjust. But I think they were saying, we're going to make these guys beat us in one-on-one situations. We like them having to make tough twos. We don't, and we're going to take away the three. And you go, what was it, 2 of 14? I mean, you couldn't really get many clean looks at all. And some of the ones you did were kind of forced. But it was just
I don't know what adjustment they could make, Chris, in game. Like, do you grow 3 inches and come back out? I saw a couple of times even – where they would run a second man at JT or maybe it was D5, and they're still knocking down a bucket. What do you do at that point?
I
You just
mean,
throw your hands in the air, I guess.
and wave them like you just don't care. Yeah, but you do seem a bit cold from behind the arc. Okay, I think that
I
is.
think so.
Yeah, that is something, but I don't expect it to continue. I'll keep betting that way just because I think you just have too many guys that are too good at it. But I mean, this is how wild your games in Wichita, Kansas were. Kerwin Walton goes from 27-point scorer to, hey, CBS, we'd like to talk to Kerwin Walton, to getting up on the podium after the game, to like he gets to do the video the day before the second round game, where it's like it's 24 hours of game time, and he's kind of doing the holding his hairdo in place, everything like that. It was all Kerwin Walton all the time. No points second round. You and I scored as much as Kerwin Walton did. He did a bit, but and yet you win by 13. So
and I'll add again, Chris, if you hadn't seen Tech this year, you're like, holy hell, what happened? The guy scored 27, scored 0. If you are a Tech fan, you're like, yeah, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
We knew
but I mean, I just don't know. I just don't know if there's been too many teams in recent years that have existed that will heave up 46 one night and then 12 on the next night, and it's totally normal, and it's totally like a winning recipe. There's just not too many teams that are built that way, because typically you're either built one way or the other to heave up 35 to 40 plus, or you're built to like, we don't really lean on that. We're going to pound you in the paint, get the free throw line and all that. But this is like, it's just fascinating. So absolutely comparisons to some of these previous really good teams, because if you're multiple this time of year, you are a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, and as we get into this week, obviously looking ahead, you spin back to a different sort of matchup with some real imposing size on the inside for Arkansas, and you wonder, what that's going to look like. And I also wonder if at some point Texas Tech has just got to be able to almost say sack up and go up against a wall like that and just overcome it. But much easier said than done. And if you are able to just say, hey, you're big on the inside, then we're shredding you from the outside and vice versa, and we just roll through this thing, lickety split, nice and clean, I'm fine with that too. It's been really interesting to watch so far. We will get to also on tomorrow's episode, kind of a question about some of the guys that have not been hitting, and like, how concerned are we growing? Christian Anderson probably, I think, at the top of that list, just because he has been steady Eddie, Mr. Consistent. He hasn't had those wild, ebbs and flows. So I was glad that we did see him get to see the net pop before the day was done. And you never know, maybe that can break the seal for a shooter who's having a tough start to a tournament. And Chris, I kind of thought you might have already brought this up by now on the show, but I may have my bullet points on the rundown reversed here, because I have some suspicion that we possibly should lead the conversation actually with Elijah Hawkins, even though 28 and 25 and a double-double for one of them from JT Toppin and Darion Williams is worth a whole lot of talk. This is an Elijah Hawkins Stand podcast, and we want to always emphasize he is the table setter, and the table was a beauty. He was doing it again, and I don't know, might say even to a better degree than round one. I thought it got even a little bit better for Elijah against Drake.
Yeah, it's I think he's quietly building himself a bit of a legacy here, and like I hate it for like Joe Toussaint last year, because I think if you'd have had some more success in the postseason, we would have thought about Joe Toussaint a bit differently over time. But Elijah Hawkins, it was well documented when he came here. Some people praised it, other people criticized it, whatever. He's been nothing but, just awesome lately. Really, I mean, and once he got it figured out, I just am going to double down on the fact that I think he's the straw that's stirring this drink, and he's your most important guy. What he was doing on the defensive end, because Bennett Sturts is legit. Okay, people may say, he's not this, he's not that, he's overrated or whatever. No, he's got a serious skill set, and he doesn't have as much around him, but he makes the guys around him so freaking good. And he's just like so smooth and all that. And Elijah Hawkins is chasing this kid around everywhere. And he forced him into some tough shots. And I think, again, then Sturt's got 21 points, but he had to shoot it 19 times to get to that point. He also had 8 assists. But I just thought Elijah, because the thing about Sturt's is, in that offense in general.
Today's episode brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Fixes tired fast. Whether you've got a long list of tasks at work or a bundle of DIY projects to tackle at home, take a 5 Hour Energy shot so you can cover everything with energy to spare. If you're like me, you've always got a lengthy list of things to get done around the house. So when you get your supplies for any project, don't forget the most essential one, a 5 Hour Energy shot. 5 Hour Energy shots give you the feeling of alertness and energy you need to get in the zone. And that's why 5 Hour Energy is the brand hardworking people like you have trusted for over 20 years to give them the alert, energized feeling they need to get through a busy and hectic day. And you always know where to find 5 Hour Energy shots, right at the cash register at nearly every convenience, drug, and grocery store nationwide. Even better, stock up on money-saving multi-packs to make sure you never run out of delicious, energizing 5 Hour Energy shots. And right now, if you go to 5hourenergy.com, that's the number 5hourenergy.com, and get some 5 Hour Energy today, you can use our promo code LOCKEDONCFB. That's LOCKEDONCFB to receive 20% off your order. This offer only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions and does not apply to subscription orders. Boost your day, boost your life, and get in the get it done zone by going to 5hourenergy.com today.
They just never stop moving. It's like a pain. Like I used to tell kids when I was coaching them, I was like, man, you better not just stand still on offense, because you're doing the defense a favor. They can just stand there too, and then they get their rest and all that. But these guys from Drake, man, and it's all unscripted. They're just moving everywhere. But Elijah Hawkins there's no telling how many steps he had, or what the GPS would have said about how many steps he ran all over him. He's jumping into the announcers. He's I mean, it's just. I just, without being corny, you're just really proud for the kid because he does it pretty. There's not a lot of drama there, man. He just kind of plays hard. He's a pest. He does. I mean, the most emotion you'll really see is when he drops a dime from across the court and he puts the goggles on. But one of the key points in the game was when he stepped up and knocked down 4 free throws in a row after Ben McCollum picked up a technical. That was
the veins right there.
Yep, that was a big swing. And Drake would kind of semi have an answer a few minutes later, but I thought that was just a masterclass in poise, and I just loved. And again, JT and Darian will get a lot of credit, and deservedly so.
Sure,
but what Elijah Hawkins is doing for this team is just can't be. You just can't shine a light on it enough, because there's so much of it that's not showing up on any kind of stat sheet that you may be looking at.
Yeah, both ends of the floor, all around, all encompassing, making a hand, top hand, possibly even, as coordinated by Locked On Texas Tech right now, because what he does defensively, and he's done that from game one. I mean, that was probably the first thing that really stood out, was like, this dude never stops moving, and you said it correctly, a pest. It's just always like nose to nose, it seems like, with whoever the other guy is, and that's continued.
And the thing about Drake's defense, and we, first of all, you scored more points on Drake than anybody had all year. Okay, I knew that you were going to be in good shape at halftime when you scored 37, because they held Missouri to a season low in a half offensive point output at 23 in the first round. So you were 14 better than Missouri the other night. You had a 7-point lead, but Drake is just like analytically all the stuff. Their defense is one of the best in the country. Now their schedule probably isn't up to what a lot of people face, but for Elijah Hawkins to play 37 minutes, dish it out 7 times, and then have 0 turnovers, 0. That to me is just elite point guard play in the month of March.
Yeah,
in an NCAA tournament game. I mean, that you're just not going to get much better than that. And I hope that he just stays in that gear, man, because that's what it's going to take. But that is a pleasure to watch.
God, he's got to regret leaving. Let me check the Minnesota. Can you imagine this guy being buried in a Minnesota winter right now? I mean, he's becoming a nationally known point guard instead, and we love to see it and want to continue to see it happen.
And you know a point that we should make too, because here whenever this ends, everybody's going to kind of have this whole panic mode about, okay, what next? Who's staying? What are we doing? There's this vulnerable feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like where everybody and they want the roster filled up like right now. Like I want to know what we got going on. I want to know who my guys are, and it just takes a while to play out. At this time last year, there's not anybody watching this thing or listening to this thing that knew who Elijah Hawkins was or followed it, unless you're just the hardest core of college hoops junkies. That is just file that away in your back pocket.
Yeah.
You know that there are players out there. There are players out there that Grant and his staff will start engaging with rather quickly, because the portal window opens up in the morning and then it's a free-for-all. So yes, you're still playing, but it's about to be business on. So point is, Elijah Hawkins was an unknown to most. And guess what? Now he's about to play in San Fran on a Thursday night against the Hogs.
I would say my message to those people who are worried about that kind of thing right now is that's a you problem. Seek therapy. I got to tell you, I don't want to. I feel like I'm a fairly skeptical person, just in the sense that I don't really latch on to some type of hero worship all that quickly. As far as some coaches, we've been burned a few times. You know, I got some wounds, I got some scars, so I've learned a few things over the years. Like, okay, well, sort of at arm's length, I'll like this guy or I'll buy into it, whatever. I'm finding myself just challenged when it comes to Grant McCaslin in that regard, because I am almost just sold out to the extent that I'm like, oh, we don't have anybody on the list right now. Who cares? All he's going to do is go find, 6 guys, and he's going to hit on 6 of 6. He's going to have 100% success rate. And you're talking about like Grant and his staff will be engaging with guys doing what they're doing. There are going to be some guys across the country looking our way and saying,
yep,
I kind of like to engage with those guys.
Already are.
Yeah. So I have zero worries. And I mean, zero. Is there something less than zero? But zero worries about the future ability for this staff to put together a roster, because they've done it 2 times in a row. It got even better the second time around. And the success rate we've already talked about, man, they do nothing but hit on the guys that they're after.
And man, I think that's a great segue, I guess, into, roster construction. But what Grant has done here in a short time is just been a blast. And he is so passionate. I've heard from, other coaches and other sports at various levels, and they just love watching the guy coach and compliment his ability to coach. And all Grant wants to do is compliment the guys that are sitting next to him that are part of the process. And, he will tell everybody, hey, they have a big voice in everything we're doing here. I mean, whether it's AC or Linder or Barnwell or Breyer, even Chris Nottingham. I mean, Brian Pete, the video coordinator. I mean, he just surrounded himself with really quality people that are damn good at what they do. And it's just all kind of playing out. You just look at like the development, the ability to identify and then choose what pieces would work together and then squeeze all of it out of them. And then like, okay, this is pretty good. And then Devin Cambridge, does his thing. But then it's like you're just missing a piece here or there, and yet it doesn't, because it's not lost on me that Grant.
First, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Imagine watching your favorite team at the college basketball tournament live, feeling the energy of the crowd, witnessing unforgettable moments. We all know there's nothing like experiencing a big game in person, and getting tickets shouldn't be stressful. That's where Gametime comes in, making it easier than ever to grab last-minute seats at unbeatable prices. With Gametime Picks, curation makes it even easier to find better value for tickets to sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And the one and only lowest price guarantee, which means you get the lowest price, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Plus,
peace of mind. With seat views before you buy, no surprise fees, and the lowest price guarantee, you can book with total confidence. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed.
It's not lost on me that Grant, was around Coach Dickey and I think Bob Knight for a brief period of time, but he's very much in the like small rotation is just how it go. That's just who he's going to be. I think this is the way they were at North Texas for the most part. But I just remember that team that Bob Knight took to the Sweet 16 and say like when they went to Albuquerque and they got Kevin Pittsnoggled. That was pretty much a 7-man rotation. And, Martin Zeno, Jay Jackson, Ronald Ross, those guys essentially just never came off the floor. And it was just this well-oiled machine. And that's kind of the way that Grant has built this, this team, and I think wants to operate, a roster. And you just have to be healthy and have to hope that you've got toughness and that you like those pieces if we don't have, but it's just been fascinating to watch him. And he was emotional, ran the gamut. I think that he legitimately is friends and kind of hurt for his buddy, Ben McCollum, who he tried to get here. And I can see why. The guy's a damn good coach. He may be the next head coach at Iowa or West Virginia or something, or he may say, I want to be happy. I want to be at Drake. Screw everybody else. I'm going to do me, and all that. But Grant, I just appreciated the way that Grant is enjoying this because last year it was a quick exit, and I think this is really fun for these guys because it might cost you a little bit to with each win that goes by, but they deserve a lot of credit here.
And that's the name of the game in college sports these days. So nothing to be afraid of. We got cash in West Texas. Let's get a number figured out. And we'll get on down the road. Before we get out of here, Chris, we're talking about Elijah Hawkins, all the assists. Somebody has to make a bucket on the other end of that to qualify as an assist. And, man, Darion Williams, JT Toppin, 50 paint points. What a day. And not everybody likes to see the same thing within a game, but a guy like me, I just love to watch it because it is, to me, like a soul-crushing thing for the opposition. It's like a physical rushing attack in the fourth quarter. You can do nothing about it. And it seems like a foregone conclusion. And Chris, I got to tell you, even knowing March Madness and what Drake's all due respect to Drake, and what can happen in the second half of games like these, when it's 19 for Toppin at halftime and you're rolling through that first 20 minutes, the word inevitable is coming to mind. And it was just as you pointed to, and I sure am anxious to hear what you're going to point to rolling into the next one. But you said the big guys are going to have an opportunity, and, man, they took advantage of every bit of it in all different kinds of ways, by the way. I thought we saw some versatility as well from those two.
There's these famous artists out there. I don't have a name or anything, but you've seen these videos or whatever when they just they have this big canvas and they stick these brushes and all these different colors of paint and they just start splattering the canvas, right? And then they're and then they call it art and they say, oh, for this display, which it took them 30 seconds to just splatter, whatever, but it's somebody famous doing it, whatever. And then it's like, hey, this painting is $5,000. What do you mean? Well, it's art. We just splatter. Well, if you look at the shot chart, that's what this looked like. I mean, it was like it was a paint party. I mean, you're just all around the rim. It's like you just took those paintbrushes and just splattered it all over the deal there. But this was D5 on the what would be the left block operating. He even got some from the right side. JT on the right block. Even got some on the left side. You got some in transition.
Chris, also the game between them, one of the best passes of the game was Williams to Toppin. I thought some of the passing just between those two, man, that was fun to watch too.
And there was one play where JT, because I thought in general, your sense of urgency was a bit different. I'm there very close, and they let them play, and it was very physical. But you were just a bit quicker, just a bit tougher, because there's the ball's bouncing around in some of these, and like you know, JT's elite level quick hands and things like that, just to get that ball, hold on to it out of the air, and that there was, because it's all in the margins. But there was one time where he snatched it, and then he's at the other end finishing at the rim. And I was like, okay, this is again, enjoy it, folks, and enjoy it. JT doing his thing, but man, I'm glad he's on my team. And you think about it. What did he go? 25-12. Okay. And yet it was like that, you know, I heard, man, what's wrong with JT? He just had a bad game on the opening game, 12-10. Like, how, I mean, so look at what he's capable of. And like, even if that's a bad game, 12-10, I mean, geez, man.
I called it a modest double-double.
Yeah, that's right.
If there is such a thing.
But this is one of the best games that D5 has played. Yeah, I mean, this is
a long time.
This was similar to Kansas last year in a way.
Yep.
He just had a look in his eye, and it was different. He even called himself dramatic after the game was over. I thought that was funny.
To which Grant McCaslin added, "I did not say that," which I thought was also funny.
I know, that's right. But yeah, they are enjoying each other's company right now. But yeah, D5 been known to go the Luka Doncic or whatever route where he's just like, oh my God, I've been sniped. I may never get up.
And the broadcaster's like Achilles. He immediately says Achilles. I'm like, what? What are you seeing? And then we see the jog off. Okay. All right. Thank goodness. But all's well that ends well. But man, it just doesn't get any more fun than that to me. It's just so overpowering. And again, just kind of will breaking when you have a team do that to you. There's really not much you can do about it. I don't anticipate necessarily the same opportunity the next time around, but we're getting down to the nitty gritty when, as I already mentioned, you just kind of got to go up against some of the best with your best and see whose best is best.
Oh, I expect some of it.
Do you?
I'll just give you a little hint as to the way I'm thinking, and I'll tell you why when we get around to talking about it. But I do expect some of it.
You're scratching me right where I itch. My leg is looking like a Cocker Spaniel kicking under the desk right now. Man, it's fun when you win, and the Red Raiders win again. So we roll on to San Francisco. We'll spend time, obviously, kicking off the week, looking ahead to what is next. Before we dive fully into Arkansas, I do want to kind of get to still some inward reflection, Chris. And let's talk about some of those guys that have not really been having the tournament so far that we hoped for, and whether or not there's a shot we feel like maybe they can break out of it. Is concern beginning to grow regarding Christian Anderson's production? I don't know, but nonetheless, it was a wild scene as far as Wichita when you think about the contributions of three guys on that day. And for the most part, 3 versus 5 was a winner for Texas Tech. I know that's hyperbole. There were plenty of other contributions that don't show up in the box score, but 28, 25, and 16 for Williams, Toppin, and Hawkins. And the Red Raiders are moving on. Appreciate the insights as always, Chris. Glad to have you back in God's country, at least for a bit, but we got to ship you back out to California here pretty quick. So I hope you're ready for a wild week.
Yeah, and Tyler, I saw you right after the game ended on Saturday night. Enjoyed getting a pick with you, my man, and you listen every day. It's nice to meet your boy there.
Let's go, Tyler.
And, yeah, safe travels back to the 806, or I think you're in Midland, you told me. But, yeah, the environment there was just awesome. I mean, it was just – I mean, if you can't get in the middle of that and enjoy yourself, you got something wrong with you, man. So I hope that San Francisco is the same, because I don't even want to let my brain go there on what a Final Four appearance would look like for Texas Tech in San Antonio, Texas. You're not there yet. You got, 80 minutes still to go. That's a long way, a lot of tough tests and all that. But Texas Tech fans, man, are just awesome. And that they have gotten behind this team, and it's been fun to watch. So, man, appreciate it, Cowan. We'll do it again next time.
My mind is already there, and I can tell you what it looks like. It looks mighty fine. We're not too far away from it, man. That could be a dream. But first, plenty of business, obviously, left to take care of and challenges to face coming up in San Francisco. All right, appreciate you guys for being out there. As always, get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. Thanks to the Everydayers and the Matador Mob for always riding along. Hit the show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial if you're interested in becoming a Matador Mob Insider. That's your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text and straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks for the time. And as always, we hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.